Hello, and welcome to the Awful and Awesome Entertainment Rap episode 343. I'm Abbas,
And I'm Nainika.
and when the guards are away, the inmates will play.
I will apologize though, I'm really under the weather today. I was coughing my lungs out before this, so I do sound a little weird. But but let's get into this.
You know what I've been under? I've been under the spell
Oh,
of the
yes,
Ambani
under this.
wedding.
I was literally going to start the episode. You know, a specter has been haunting the nation. The specter of the third Ambani kid wedding. So, Abbas. No, let's start
Yeah.
with this. Abbas, if you had infinite money and you were
Yes.
getting married, how would you do it?
Oh, I was only getting married. I think I would do it exactly the way I think the Ambanis have done it. I think I wouldn't change a thing. But I would just like to mention at the top of the episode, that's not the only thing we're going to talk about this episode. There are other things also. A couple of other things that we'll be talking about on the episode is Laapataa Ladies, which is the new Kiran Rao film that is playing in theaters right now. I happen to catch it, so I'll be talking about that. We'll also be talking about Mr. and Mrs. Smith, the new action drama show. Is that
Action, drama,
action
comedy,
romance?
romance, everything sort of rolled into one.
Oh, okay. Which is on Amazon Prime Video. We'll also be talking about The Holdovers, which is another movie that has a lot of Oscar buzz going on,
Yes,
which Nanika was able to
I
watch.
loved it.
So without further ado, let's get to the big thing that happened.
What did you think about the fact that they made all the Bombay celebs travel via bus?
Oh, I loved it. See, so there are two schools of thought, right, about this. I don't know if you can call it schools of thought. One is that अरे अंबानी ने औकात दिखा दी इन लोगों को, इतने अमीर अमीर बड़े बनते हैं, इनको बस में बिठा दिया. One is that, and the other is what is this vulgar display of wealth in a country that is where most of the people live below the poverty line. So we'll come to the second part of it, which is
Right.
the slightly more serious
Nuanced
take
take.
on it.
Yeah.
But I loved it. I loved that Ananya Pandey was very uncomfortable sitting in a bus, trying to sit in a bus. I don't know how many of these people traveled in a bus last time. And I loved how David Dhawan and his son Varun Dhawan, I think they were catching people's bags, and I think some Instagram page was, "Oh my God, they're so humble. They're helping people out in a bus." I'm like, yeah, okay, fine.
I think you've really followed the celeb buzz around it. I
Oh,
guess you were one of
yes.
those. Who's the paparazzi guy? Viral Bhayani, viral. I do not
Viral
know. Is his
Bhayani,
name
yes,
actual
yes.
viral? Like, is that's like some stunning nominative determinism on display. He popped out of his mother's womb, and his parents were like, "Our child will become an internet celeb, so we must name him accordingly." Well, that's crazy. I feel like you've been following all these paparazzi meme pages.
Not all of them. So also a lot of this is not by choice. It's just it was all
Yeah, it
over
actually
social
showed
media
up.
so
Yeah.
much. Yeah. But I saw this one video where this lady sort of did a breakdown of which celebrities were sent in a bus and which were actually picked up in a car. And that was very interesting.
Ooh.
So the three
Okay.
Khans were
Now,
picked up
no,
in
very important. If you remember these two camps, who were you surprised to see was sent by bus, and who were you surprised to see that had a car sent for them?
The big international act, of course, was Rihanna, who I did not know this, so she hasn't performed live in a long time. I think her
Last,
last
she
live
performed at the
performance was
Super Bowl, where she
the
also
Super Bowl.
announced
Yeah.
her second pregnancy, essentially, and then she just sort
Right.
of wasn't seen after that for a while. So it's crazy.
Yes.
And then later it turns out that, she charged 9 million for the performance, and B,
Which is how much in Indian rupees roughly?
80 crores.
Oh wow, okay.
Yeah. So she performed for about $9 million. And secondly, and more importantly, Fenty Beauty is coming to India. And I think it will be launched on the Sephora, Tira, whatever platform that Ambani's own.
She did both the things. She performed for the Ambanis and now she's launching her thing on a rival
Yeah, I think it's
platform.
on Nainika. But let's see. I mean, essentially, she came here for business, and that is what she managed to do. So good for her.
But tell me, what all videos have you seen? So I've seen a lot of videos of the Diljit Dosanjh performance and the Rihanna performance, which happened. I also saw
the three Khans were made to do Natu Natu or something.
Natu, yeah. They didn't even dance on the Telugu version. They danced on the Hindi version, which is Nacho Nacho,
Acha.
which is really weird. But tell me something. So of course everybody's been saying this, that oh, they sold, they're sellouts. They went for this. All of them, these prestigious people. Some of them are like Bharat Ratna winners and so on and so forth. And it's kind of beneath their caliber to see them dancing at a wedding, right? But my question is, see, if you get that invite in your mail that India's richest man has invited you to his son's pre-wedding bash. How do you say no to that? Because I'm sure there are repercussions to say no to that, right? That like the stakes are pretty high if you piss them off. Yeah, that actually what I was coming to. That do you think it was tone deaf to sort of do a celebration like this? Given that okay, you're the richest person in the country, but then I think I mean that comes down to even the fact that even the Antilla house in Bombay, you won't find like I mean you'll find a, a slum pretty much down the road from where
Mm-hmm.
the Antilla stands. So I guess the dichotomy you can't escape in India. I personally am not a fan of people who have this innate sense of showing off their wealth. So I don't know, but I can't deny that I loved the memes also that were coming out.
So
The
I guess
funniest,
there's
yeah.
always been this thing like even when okay, wow, I feel weird saying this, but even when France was on the brink of the revolution, the French Revolution, about the income inequality, the wealth inequality, is just wealth or celebrations or displays of wealth have always worked to sort of keep people in line, essentially, right? So just
Hmm.
give them something to distract them, give them something to sort of keep their eyes glued, and this and that, essentially. Do you remember the Aaron Bushnell self-immolation thing happened, where he
Yes.
self-immolated in front of the Israeli embassy in Washington D.C.
Yes.
because he was
Yeah.
opposing what is happening in the Israel-Palestine conflict. And somebody
Yeah.
tweeted out saying that between Sydney Sweeney's SNL performance and Dune 2, everyone's just forgotten about that man Aaron Bushnell.
Correct.
And I was just
Yeah.
it just made me realize that all public spectacle serves as a vehicle to sort of
Mm.
distract people, or to sort of
Mm.
nudge people's attention to sort of more frivolous matters, and
Mm.
which I also just like, sort of solidify these rich people as a cultural behemoth in people's mind. Like, oh, this is what you should be aspiring to, or you should try to
Mm.
recreate this in some sort of like, some smaller platform in your life when you're celebrating something, because that's all you can aspire to. You'll never have our kind of wealth, which is why Neeta Ambani was wearing that 500 crore necklace with a
Yeah,
giant,
something like that.
giant
Yes.
emerald or whatever. So it's just like, they're like, they work like subtle mind control onto you to reinforce what should be done, what norms should be followed, how to fall in line. So yeah, I guess that's the purpose it serves. Is it worth commenting? No.
The funniest meme I saw was somebody took a picture of Antilla the day before the pre-wedding bash, and the lights were on, and they were like, "सब लोग जामनगर में हैं, तो घर की light क्यों चल रही है?"
a
That was
mutual
quite
of
funny.
mine a mutual of mine को tweeted that saying parasite चल रहा है इनके घर में.
Okay, before we move on, I have an announcement which is about the News Minute and News Laundry Election Fund. Ahead of the upcoming general elections, News Laundry has tied up with the News Minute yet again to bring you important stories straight from the ground. This time, instead of one big fund project, we are doing smaller projects so that you can choose which one you would like to power. We will have more than 15 reporters, producers, and editors from the NL and TNM on the ground, covering various states, including Manisha, Atul, Dhanya, and Sudipto Mondal. And your contribution will directly power their work. Head to newslaundry.com/2024-election fund to make the contribution. That's newslaundry.com/2024-election fund. And you can make the contribution. So let's move on to Mr. and Mrs. Smith, which is the new Amazon Prime original, which comes with a lot of hype. This is a spy series created by an Francesca Sloan and Donald Glover. It's loosely inspired by the Brad Pitt Angelina Jolie spy thriller of the same name. So Nanika, you saw this. Tell me what you thought about it, and what's your opinion?
So this came out a couple of weeks ago, and I've been dying to talk about it ever since. I think Priyali and I had a conversation that I want to come and record and talk about this. So it was conceptualized by Donald Glover. Essentially, it was supposed to have Donald Glover and Phoebe Waller-Bridge, the
Oh, okay.
of the Fleabag fame.
Fleabag.
She was co-writing it, and she was supposed to act opposite Donald Glover. But now it's Maya Erskine. I don't know what else she's been in, but she was quite good in this. And essentially, it's a little different from the original Mr. and Mrs. Smith, where they were sort of pitted from rival agencies. There were spies for rival agencies. They were also married, but it was like. But they were married, and that was a separate plot point that became, the point of contention for their respective agencies. This one here is a little flipped on its head, that these two are spies. They sign up to work for the same agency, and then the agency sort of pairs them up as a husband-wife couple and essentially tells them that you will be husband and wife, like play pretend as husband and wife for your missions, because you attract less attention as a couple. People are more charitable to you if you're a couple together, instead of just, people raise questions about one single person. If it's just like a married couple, people don't, they're not as suspicious about it. So it's suppose
Right.
if so they essentially get paired up. They get this beautiful house in New York, and they have like this AI system, this computer system that keeps telling them about the projects that they're supposed to take on. And it's, I think, an 8-episode series or so. And just the story of everything, how it's developed, it's very slick looking, it's very beautifully done. But just the chemistry in both the leads is quite beautiful. It's quite nice to watch. Apart from just being a spy thriller, it also ends up being like a really beautiful exploration of what it means to be a couple, what it means to be married, what it means to. So they're sort of in a strange position where they're married, but they're also just like, it's a new relationship for them. So they're
Oh,
having all
so
these
Anand,
relationship
Anand and
fights.
Radhika should watch this, is
They
what you're
maybe
saying.
should watch this, but I don't know. They've been dating since forever, I guess. So, I don't know if that applies, but maybe they should. But essentially, it's just like they're having all these fights that a couple has, like, oh, you're so terrible. Oh, you become cold. Oh, you call your mom too much. Oh, I'm not going to share my, I don't know, Apple location with you anymore because I'm mad at you. And they're having all these fights while also on mission where they're like
Right.
toting guns, killing people, on a chase, and this and that, in funky, weird locations. So I thought that it made for a very funny contrast, and it's just also a great exploration. I think it's very funny, sharp, incisive writing about relationships, which is quite rare because people do make a lot of romance movies. But I guess to really understand the machinations of what happens in a couple between two people who are in a relationship together is very difficult to capture in writing format. It's like, sometimes it's like you're making a single child write about a sibling relationship. It's very different. If you're not in it, you've not experienced it. So I feel like
Correct.
that way, just the relationship writing aspect of it is very good. And I think it's because it's Donald Glover. He is.
You can find out what I thought of Laapataa Ladies, which is in theaters right now, and what Nainika thought of The Holdovers, and a lot more fun stuff. The full episode will be available on the News Laundry website. So head on to newslaundry.com or the News Laundry app and listen to the rest of the episode over there.
You can fund journalism that solely works for you. That is our motto at News Laundry. You can pay to keep news free so that news becomes accountable to you just like it's supposed to be. Visit newslaundry.com and become a paying subscriber so that you can pay to keep news free and independent.